Today is June the 4th. It's been a while since I posted a video on YouTube. The reason for that is my wife and I decided we were ready for a change, ready for a move, ready for a little bigger house. So we got our house ready. I didn't really have a garden last year because my house sold in the spring. Took us until the end of the year to find the new house. We've got it now, got a little more space, a little bigger house. Probably the house we'll retire in. But I've got a little summer garden going right now, and I wanted to show that off. And this is it. I've got on this side a row of tomatoes, and then from the other end, working my way back, another half of a row of tomatoes. I think it's about 35 plants. The second row, we've got some peppers, some tobacco from seeds I got from T-Bird a few years ago. Some more peppers. Potatoes, some sweet corn, and the rest of it's kind of a lot of weeds, but okra in this row. I don't remember what all is here, but I can see some squash and some zucchini in this row, and some October beans, which I've never grown before. Tomatoes, I always grow some Tommy Toe tomatoes of some sort, usually just a couple of bushes, and they're always at the corner of the garden closest to the house. The reason for that is my girls can come out and pick it. They're easy to get to. I've got one right here on the corner, and just green tomatoes. I would like to get the variety of tomatoes that I grow down to about 2 or 3. So I planted several this year to try to sort of pick out what I'm going to end up choosing. This is Better Boy, and I've grown it several years. There's some bigger ones down in there. I don't know if you can see them or not. It's Better Boy, and got about, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 of those Better Boys. These are Opalka. That's what I have more of those than anything else. That's what I have been growing for a sauce tomato, and I have several of those. They've done pretty well for me, except for they get kind of big, and I may stick with them, but if I can find something that's not quite so big, that's probably what I'll do. Got several of those. Also growing some Roma 3s, and just based on, this is a small bush, but based on how heavy the fruits are in such a small bush, this may be, depends on how it tastes, I guess, but this may be a new favorite. These are San Marzanos, which I've not grown ever either. I don't know if you can see that in there. Not as many fruit on this plant as or on these plants as the Roma 3s. But I think they were planted a couple of weeks later too. Also have some Rutgers and Cherokee Purple tomatoes, which unfortunately I didn't do a very good job of marking the plants, and I can't remember. It's the way it goes. You think, yep, I'll remember that, but here it is a month or 2 later, and I certainly don't remember. The jalapeno plants have not gotten big yet, but quite a few peppers under there. So hopefully we'll be canning some peppers here soon. These are tobacco plants. I can't remember what variety, but the seed came from T-Bird several years ago. The bugs tend to prefer the tobacco over, I guess, a lot of the other stuff, so it's sort of like a sacrificial plant. So I don't do anything with the tobacco. I just think it's neat. I planted a whole 6-pack of eggplant seeds this winter. Only one of them came up, so that's it. These are bell peppers, still pretty small, but I've got some peppers under them. Hopefully those will keep doing well. have a 100-foot row of potatoes. I've got 3 different varieties. There's a red potato, a Yukon Gold, and a white of some kind, but I can't remember what it is. They're just sort of all mixed in here together. A few of the plants are starting to sort of lay over, so probably won't be a lot longer before we're eating potatoes. Got a row of sweet corn. With a few ears already starting to form. I think that's a volunteer turnip, I guess. It's huge. I didn't do anything with it, but it came up on its own. I don't see a turnip under there. Maybe that's a mustard. I don't really know. This is the my weed row, okra row. Planted the okra about 3 feet apart, hoping to get a big bushy plant. We'll see how it goes. Got a few butternut squash forming on the vines. Got a couple of kinds of cucumbers growing here. Straight 8 and a pickling variety of some sort. Straight 8 on this end, I see a few fruit, but they're really, really small. Whatever the pickling cucumber is, seems to be doing a little bit better. I can see a few small cucumbers under here already. Yellow squash. Looks like yellow squash. Green zucchini. That'll be ready in less than just a couple of days. Apparently 3 strings of barbed wire are not enough to keep the deer out of the garden, so I'm going to stick up a 4th strand rather. Some zucchini. Here's where it gets a little fuzzy, where I can't remember exactly what I've got planted. If I had to guess, gosh, I don't even want to guess. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think we've either got honeydew or cantaloupe here. Just starting to grow. Vine out a little bit, I think. Some watermelon. Just starting to grow. The whole end of this row are birdhouse gourds, and I've grown them once before just because I thought they were neat, but I actually need them this year. The new house came with a marten pole, and house hasn't been lived in a few years, but the previous owner had some marten houses, and I need to take those down and put some new ones up. Purple martens. Last thing I've got growing here, well, that's next to the last actually, are some October beans. I've never grown them before. Supposed to be sort of like pintos. We'll see how they do. And this is not the last row of the garden, but it is the last row that I planted, and planted it in sorghum, and it really came up pretty sparsely. Let's see. So I'm thinking I may till this from here, the rest of the garden up, and replant another row of sorghum. Haven't decided what all I'm going to do with the rest of the garden, or if this will be the permanent size of it, or if I'll expand it. Still got to plant some pink eye purple hull peas a little later in the summer. Probably do some more corn later in the summer as well. But that's it. That's the that's the garden for 2017 so far. Thanks for watching.